Welcome to Man at the Tap, a podcast from Tapestry Ministries. Each episode reflects on a daily Bible reading from the Revised Common Lectionary. I'm Gloria, a fellow traveler on a spiritual journey with the Tapestry community, and we refer to the daily Bible reading as our spiritual manna. It nourishes our souls, fostering spiritual growth as we share insights and interpretations that enrich our spiritual lives. Today is Friday, September the 5th, 2025, in the 12th week after Pentecost during this season of ordinary time. This is a time for us to live an extraordinary disciplined life as we grow spiritually. The lectionary reading is from the Old Testament book of Deuteronomy. Imagine Moses leading God's people after 430 years of slavery out of Egypt. They crossed the Red Sea and entered the desert. And it was in the desert that Moses told them that God had given them a homeland, which he had promised to their ancestor Abraham. But to take possession of the new homeland, they would need to learn the laws and guidelines on how to live a blessed life there. Blessings come to those who obey, and punishment to those who disobey. The generation of people who emerged from Egypt and lived in the desert constantly desired to return to a life of slavery in Egypt. They ended up wandering aimlessly in the desert for 40 years because of their disobedience until they died. A new generation born in the desert now stands at the doorstep, ready to enter the promised homeland. And Moses will review the same laws and guidelines that were given to their parents and grandparents, urging them to recommit themselves to obeying God. That's what the book of Deuteronomy is all about. The relationship between God and this new generation. It would be a mutual, a two-way street relationship. God would keep his promise to bless them if they remained faithful. But if they disobeyed, they would bring punishment upon themselves. The lectionary reading is Deuteronomy chapter 12, verses 12 to 26. I think that's Deuteronomy chapter 7. The people are afraid because the promised land is currently occupied by seven of the most powerful nations of that time. God tells them not to fear. He will help them to conquer these nations. But what the people are supposed to do is to destroy the religious altars and images and not take any of the silver and gold for themselves. They are also to avoid making treaties with the surrounding nations and to refrain from intermarrying with them. God desired obedience from the people because they were special to him. He chose them from all the nations of the earth to be his treasured and personal possession. Now, he didn't choose them because they were important or because they were a big nation. In fact, there was nothing in them that made them deserving or entitled to this relationship. God did it out of his pure love for them, and he was keeping the promise he made to their ancestors to be kind to their descendants for generations to come, especially his promise to Abraham. God promised they would be blessed above all nations with offsprings as signs of his love, crops from the land, healthy families, and in times of fear, because of the surrounding nations, they were to recall the stories of how God delivered their ancestors out of Egypt. All the people needed to do was listen carefully and follow the laws and guidelines. If they obeyed, no one would be able to oppose them. God loves us and He is committed to blessing us. I have a question for you. Do you want to have a mutual two-way relationship with God?